After what felt like months of radio silence, we finally have another new update about the upcoming Game of Thrones series, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, from the one and only George R. R. Martin, the author of the Dunk and Egg novellas. Now, for those of you who don't already know, early yesterday morning he went onto his Naughtablog website where he shared some new information regarding the first season, as well as the overall status of the show. The update left me feeling even more excited about the Dunk and Egg show because George R. R. Martin basically said this will be arguably the most faithful adaptation HBO has done based on any of his stories set within his A Song of Ice and Fire universe. Now let's have a look at what George R. R. Martin actually said about the first season of the Dunk and Egg series. Not only did he shed some light on the release date, but he also made it sound like they're already looking ahead at the second season before they've even officially been given the green light. He started it off by saying, "Where does the time go? January went by in a flash. I had a lot of things I wanted to say. I had writing to do, I had Zooming to do, meetings to attend, I had scripts to read, and notes to give. There was also travel, some for business and some for fun. There were friends to mourn, and books to blurb. I saw some good movies and television shows as well that gave me some enjoyment. The NFL, however, did not. I missed most of the games this season, but that was most likely a good thing. Though it was, the Jets were wretched and the Giants were worse. We got home from our summer travels on August 15th, and I had a lot of things I wanted to discuss. So instead of one long blog, I decided to break up my trip and make a series of shorter ones. Well, no, I still have a Worldcon to cover, and the Alfies, and my visit to Tolkien's grave. Now, I did cover some of that, though not in my Naughtablog, but in a rambling speech I gave at Bubonicon. But my phone unfortunately screwed up and the video we made was lost, so my Naughtablog ended up being a Naughta speech. Well, I will try to get to that later, eventually. For now, let me touch briefly on better news. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms for starts. It is done. The showrunner and his team wrapped the first season months ago and moved right on to post-production. I have already seen all 6 episodes now, although the last 2 were in rough cuts admittedly, and I love them. As most of you already know, Dunk and Egg have always been my favorites, and the actors we found are just incredible. Wait until you guys meet the Laughing Storm and Tansel Too Tall. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is an adaptation of The Hedge Knight, the first of the novellas I wrote about them, and I must say, it's as faithful as an adaptation as a reasonable man could hope for, and you all know how incredibly reasonable I am. Now, if there's any viewers out there who are looking for action, and more action, and only action, well, this one may not satisfy you. There's a big fight scene here, as exciting as anyone could ask for, but there's no dragons this time around, no massive battles, and no White Walkers. The Dunk and Egg show will be a character drama, and its focus is on duty and honor, on chivalry and all that it means. Now, The Hedge Knight was released after a Game of Thrones and before a Clash of Kings and Robert Silverberg's epic anthology Legends, and it was so popular that it brought tens of thousands of new readers to Westeros. Sales of my novels were much higher after Legends than before, and for that, I credit Silverbob and Dunk and Egg. This one ranks as one of the best stories I've ever written, and I'm so delighted that Ira Parker and our astonishing cast and crew did right by them. So far, it sounds like this show will get off to a great start. Now, according to George R. R. Martin, the series will make its debut later this year, he's told. How late, he cannot say. Maybe in the fall. I hope you'll love the show as much as I do. Meanwhile, we'll be moving on to The Sworn Sword, the second tale of Dunk and Egg. And once I finish Winds of Winter, I will need to get hopping on the Village Hero and all the other adventures that await the lads. Now don't worry, I am sure you folks will remind me. So as you can see, George R. R. Martin believes the first season of Dunk and Egg is as faithful as an adaptation as you can get. That is a great sign of success. Hopefully Ryan Condal and Sarah Hess are taking notes because, as we all know, they have started to drastically alter the events that happened during the Dance of the Dragons. I don't want to see Dunk and Egg holding hands as they gaze into each other's eyes. Now, I will say, I am kind of amazed by the fact that nothing significant leaked during the filming of the first season. I've only seen a handful of photos from the set, and most of those were shared by George R. R. Martin himself. Like he said, we're not going to see any dragons or White Walkers in this show. The series will mostly focus on what happens during the adventures of Dunk and Egg. I highly recommend that you find the 3 novellas and read them immediately. You'll be able to finish them in the same day. Now, I do hate to sound negative in any way, but I must admit, I'm already worried about how this show will end. As of right now, the Dunk and Egg novellas don't have an actual ending. In some of his other updates, he has said he would like to write upwards of a dozen Dunk and Egg novellas. I don't think he's going to be able to do that while he's still writing The Winds of Winter. Since this show will only have roughly 6 episodes for each season, they're going to be able to make them very fast. They will most likely adapt the 3 Dunk and Egg novellas within the next 5 years. That means he's gonna have to release the Winds of Winter soon. That way he can start writing an ending for the Dunk and Egg story. Otherwise, we're gonna run into the same issue we did at the end of Game of Thrones when they ran out of source material. As you can see in his Not a Blog update, George has said they are already looking ahead at adapting the second novella into the second season. They're gonna finish these 3 novellas fast, then they're gonna need George to start releasing the other ones, or else they'll have to start making things up on their own. I have a feeling we're gonna see him set Winds of Winter to the side again. That way he can work on the Dunk and Egg story for HBO. As we all know, he gets easily distracted, and he's always looking for reasons to work on something else. Like I said, if he doesn't finish Winds of Winter within the next few years, I believe he'll shift his focus over to Dunk and Egg as a way to avoid the same fate as Game of Thrones. As of right now, he says he will not work on the 4th novella, The Village Hero, until he's done with the Winds of Winter. However, I think he will change his mind once again after HBO throws another bag of money at him to help them with their shows. Remember, this is why he wrote Fire and Blood before he finished Winds of Winter. He made Fire and Blood for HBO, who was obviously making a series about House Targaryen and the Dance of the Dragons. We just have to accept the fact that writing the Winds of Winter is very difficult for him, whereas Dunk and Egg and even Fire and Blood are much easier. Now, if you remember, he already said he doesn't want to solely focus on the Winds of Winter anymore. In another one of his Not a Blog updates, he said, I know, for many of you out there, only one of my stories matter. I'm sorry for you. They all matter to me. Now, yes, of course, I am still working on the Winds of Winter. I have stated that 100 times in 100 venues. Having to restate it endlessly is wearisome. Now, he said he did make a lot of progress on Winds in 2020, but less in 2021. But less is not none. The world of Westeros and the world of A Song of Ice and Fire is my #1 focus and will remain so until the story is told. However, Westeros has become bigger than the Winds of Winter, or even A Song of Ice and Fire. In addition to Winds, I also need to deliver the 2nd volume of Archmaester Gildane's history, Fire and Blood. I'm thinking of naming that one Blood and Fire, rather than Fire and Blood Volume 2. He already had a good bit of that written, but he still has a long way to go. I also need to write more of the Dunk and Egg novellas, tell the rest of their stories, especially since there's a television series about them in development. As you can see, eventually he's gonna have to make a decision. Does he want to finish Winds of Winter before anything else? Or does he want to release more Dunk and Egg novellas as a way to ensure the show will continue to follow his vision? It will be interesting to see what he does once they have released a 3rd season of Dunk and Egg, and he still hasn't delivered the Winds of Winter. Make sure you remember this video because the red flags were there from the very beginning. As much as I want to see the Dunk and Egg series, I actually can't believe he's letting HBO adapt another unfinished story. It seems he still hasn't learned from his mistakes. Now, with all that being said, I am still very excited to see A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. No matter what happens, I will be here making videos after every single new episode. I'm also very delighted to hear how faithful the 1st season will be. Once again, we're about to go on another amazing journey throughout Westeros as we follow Dunk and Egg on their adventures roughly 90 years before the events in A Game of Thrones. Season 1 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is gonna release later this year. Not to mention, HBO is about to begin filming on Season 3 of House of the Dragon. Hopefully we'll start to see some photos and videos from the set very soon. There is about to be a lot of videos heading your way, now that there will be a lot of exciting things happening in the A Song of Ice and Fire fandom once again. I will let you know whenever I find out any new information. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching another video. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.